It's just a podcast. Who needs cables and lights and cameras
us, right?
and all that? Not
Hey,
us.
look at us.
Look at us.
Who
Who would
would've
have thought? Not me. Never. Welcome back to Fill in the Gaps. I am Egg, and we've had no troubles to start off this podcast. Absolutely zero.
It's been a streamless experience so far.
It has, absolutely. With me today is a fantastic guest who you can find at Main Street Tattoo, much like Anna, who was on recently. Back for his revenge, part-time comic, part-time motorbike rider, full-time power lifter.
It's the other way around.
Doesn't know how to stay on a motorbike without falling off.
Full-time bike rider because my car got written off.
There we go.
So,
There we go. It's Anthony. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. We're off to a flyer, as we said.
Yeah.
If
Here we
anyone's watching this, then we did it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We got the camera to work. Camera as in my phone. Because I lost the charger for the camera.
By we, you mean you?
Yes,
Because,
we.
yeah.
You took it and then wouldn't give it back.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's what happened. Had troubles with the lights. It's not purple, but also if no one can watch this, then it doesn't really matter. Does
Then
it
is purple.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I'm black.
Yes, it is. Wait, you're not... oh, okay. Damn it. Please be sure to like, subscribe, rate the show, share the show, all that. And shout out to Flasher Clothing, Flasher.clothing for sponsoring the podcast. We're here, ready to rock and roll.
Here we are.
You're back for revenge because a nice little clip of you falling off a motorbike got shown 2 episodes ago.
Listen, that wasn't me.
Wasn't you?
No. It was a different person, but the helmet, you can't see the face. Not convinced.
There's a helmet over there, though, that looks very similar to the one shown in the...
Listen, I didn't fucking come here for this, all right? I didn't come here for this shit.
Storms off the podcast.
Everything else was fine, but...
It's all hearsay. It's all hearsay.
Yeah, no, I did do a backward somersault off the motorbike. It was an attempt at a gymnastics thing that I'd been planning.
Yep.
But unfortunately... You know what was weird about that moment, though? It was my own dumb fault. I was sort of joking around and came in too fast because the boss was standing out there. My headphones have gone out.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, we're back again.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome back to Fill in the Gaps.
Yeah. Finally, you
Yes.
know what? We are filling in a gap in the market, I feel.
Yes.
2 white guys with a podcast.
Exactly.
That's what needs to happen.
Hasn't been done before.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
and we've got really interesting talking points.
Yeah.
You know, coming in, this is a really cool venue because it's kind of like a little back alley thing. I've never seen it before, and there are a bunch of homeless guys having sex in a red Prius in the car park.
Oh, one was a homeless guy, the other one was me.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought it was Dirty Mike and the boys again.
No. Dirty Mike and me.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
That's going to be the name of my first album.
Oh, Dirty Mike and me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Photo album.
Yeah.
It's not.
Hit song from the album. What is it?
Don't put your fingers in there.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Coming to a streaming platform near you soon.
Let's edit that.
No chance.
Yeah,
But
no,
yes,
that's cool.
anyway, coming into the studio on the bike.
Yeah. I came in too fast. And what's annoying is I was just joking around and I sort of braked a little bit too hard, tried to put my foot down, and no one's usually out there. And I swear to God, I came in and obviously fell back and there was fucking 8 people sitting around behind the cars smoking. I'm pretty sure some guys were doing heroin. I don't really know, but
Again, sorry about that.
yeah.
But
Well, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just as long as you chill, it's
Yeah.
better than the other stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Not that I would know, just what I've seen on the internet. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But whatever. It was. It happens.
Happens.
Yeah. Not the first time I've dropped the bike, but probably the second.
There you go.
Yeah.
To be fair, was a lot more graceful than Anna was leading it on to be. So you did well. It wasn't as dramatic as I was expecting.
I told you I've been practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done well.
Yeah. I'm a gymnast. I actually had an ex-girlfriend who was a gymnast, and she was a lot of things, martial artist, and she was a champion pole dancer. She was very, very good. And she lives overseas, and she came back to Perth a few years ago, and I did a gymnastics class with her in Warwick or something like that, and it was really fun, but also there was all these nimble people who do gymnastics, and she was just like, let's do it, it'll be fun. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm thinking a roly-poly, dude. It was so intense. And
Jesus.
Yeah, it was really fun, but
Yeah.
I was a fat, sweaty mess.
I can imagine. I would be something similar because I would love to be that flexible and be able to do all that kind of shit, but I cannot. I'm okay on a trampoline, not too bad.
I took my son to bounce on Friday.
Is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, we had a really good time, but I got told off. I wasn't wearing the right socks, so I had to get off.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But I was hit 2 threes.
I just stay on the basketball thing the whole time because I grew up on a trampoline, so I can, like, people come up and they're just trying to dunk it. I'm like going up, going double between the legs off the backboard, 360 and dunk it. Everyone's like, damn, that's crazy. And I'm like, it's just what I do. Someone's like, do a backflip. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that. You're no idea
the
how
LeBron
to do that.
of trampoline basketball against kids.
Oh, against kids, 100%. Yeah.
To a kid,
yeah,
you are significantly taller. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, significantly is probably a stretch. I'm probably a good 3 inches taller than most 4-year-olds, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Well, you got to know your demographic.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you can, like, me and my friends had this theory when we left high school. Like, particularly me, I didn't look. As high school progressed, I was more comfortable, I guess you could say, and sort of improved my social skills and. I don't want to say popularity as if I was really popular, but managed to not be getting picked on all the time. Yeah. And after we had graduated, we figured, like, if we go back and we, like, you know, if we bully the kids who are younger than us now, when we get older, they'll be like, we'll be the kings of the neighborhood.
Yes.
So, yeah, that, we had to start at preschool.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting for that investment to return.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's that going so far?
Yeah, not good. A lot of those kids are really damaged.
Yeah. Shit.
I'm just kidding. We didn't do that.
Yeah. And I wasn't in the back of a dirty Prius with dirty mics. So
exactly.
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. You were one of the kids, and that's why I feel so bad.
Yeah, that's why you have to come on the podcast and apologise.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I dealt with the trauma. It's all right. Yeah, I wish that I had more reasons to go to bounce because normally it's people taking their kids there.
Find a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a...
I don't know if that's legal to just find a kid and take them to bounce, especially looking the way that I do.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. If you find a kid, it's basically yours.
Because it's not kidnapping, it's just finding.
It's finding. Yeah, I didn't steal this chocolate bar. I found it on the shelf. Yeah.
Might have to use that.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm an ideas guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look where it's landed you
exactly.
on a podcast with another white guy. Happy days. So how old's your son?
He'll be 2 in 2 months.
Nice. Did he enjoy bounce?
He loves it. Yeah. He's been, my girlfriend took him once before. Obviously, he's a little bit younger, but I've just started taking a day off every fortnight to spend some time with him because sometimes, you know, tattooing, you obviously set your own hours within a degree, but I don't really like to, you know, if I've got half an hour left or 45 minutes or an hour left on a piece to get it done and it's 6 o'clock, like if I can, I'll do it. But I've really tried to, I mean, I used to work till whatever time, but now I try and cut it off around 6:30 if I can so that I can make it home to see him. But every now and then, you know, you have times when you can't. So, that happens. And then on those days, I might only get to see him for like 20 minutes or you know, less than an hour in the mornings. And then I don't get to see him at night if I don't make it home. So I take every second Friday off and hang out with him. And I took him to Frio the last time. I've only just started doing it this year. So took him to Frio and we actually went down and I introduced him to Samantha Charlin, who was my mentor. Who we basically grew up together. So and she hadn't met him yet. So that was really cool. I stopped into Billingsgate. Shout out Billingsgate, and introduced him to everyone there. And then we went down to the Foreshore Park. And, you know, played around there and then had a look at the Ferris wheel and took him to Cicerello's to look at the fish. Loves fish.
Hell yeah.
Big fish guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big time fish, man.
Yeah. And then we went to bounce. Yeah. And he loves it. And, like, I have just as much fun, even though, like, they have the little kids section. And that's where we go mostly. And I'm like crawling through. He's not like a watch me. He's like, come on, Dad. Come on. So I'm crawling through like these little things. And they've got like such soft knees. You know, so they're all good. And I don't have soft knees. Yeah, it's medically diagnosed.
I've always found it tough to get through the little kids bit because of my knees as well. But the thing is, I can just stand up and just walk straight through.
That's definitely a benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a benefit of being 4'2".
It's like when, you know, tall guys come in to get tattooed and you sort of got to tell them like, man, they're like 1 session for this. And you're like, man, it's probably the only drawback of being tall is like, this is not going to take 1 session. A usual arm is like an A4 and you're like almost an A3 just for your forearm. So sorry, bud. Sorry, LeBron.
Yeah, it would suck to be tall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's only one thing, pretty much. You know, that and maybe, I don't know, working around helicopters. That's a danger.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. But then you can just sign up to the NBA and you'll be good.
That's true.
Because you're 6 foot. So.
And I had to think pretty hard about that one. You know, I heard a statistic the other day that said your chances of being drafted into the NFL improve by some percentage. I was really paying attention. By every inch.
NFL or NBA?
NBA, that's what I said.
You said NFL.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
no,
you didn't.
No.
Chances
TNA. I understand you're upset about the sides, but I said TNA.
Yes. So the chances of being drafted into the NBA increase with every inch taller you are.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
By a pretty significant margin.
Yeah, because I think there's some statistic that's like, I think it's like 11% of people 7 foot or taller have been or are in the NBA. That's a fucking big percentage.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to know what percentage of the population is over 7 foot, because I bet it's pretty minimal. But imagine being over 11%. Think about it. You're over 7 foot tall. You have an 89% chance of not being in the NBA. That's pretty significant still.
But then you look at the rest of the population. So it's like, I think it's like 1/1000th of high school basketball players go on to play college basketball. And then like 1/10,000th of them go on to play in the NBA.
That was basically the statistics at my high school for whether or not you go to jail. Or end up on drugs.
Flipped,
Yeah,
right?
flipped.
Yeah. 1/1000th that you don't end up. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the other thing with the 7 footers is that like, yeah, being 7 foot is fucking massive, but most 7 footers that you see or people even close to that, they can fucking barely walk. And then you watch the guys in the NBA, they're 7 foot and they move like they're like 4'2".
Yeah,
like,
I know. Yeah.
It's just,
it's like
insane.
watching Hugh Jackman dance.
Yeah.
You know?
I've never seen it.
Never seen it?
No.
Me either.
Like, do you follow NBA much?
No.
No.
I'm not like, I used to follow AFL when I was, you know, a kid coming up. Like I got into it first when I was a kid. I was living in Victoria with my grandparents, and I was a Essendon fan. I think I would have been like 6.
And then they haven't won a final since.
Well, I just like the Bombers. Like I was a kid, I just like, I like the Bomber. So, but then when we moved back to Perth, I decided, no, I've got to support a Perth team, and I, for whatever reason, chose the Dockers. And
also yuck.
Yeah. Look. Well, I mean, you got their colours up, so
this is true. Not a fan of it,
but yeah. Look, I pretty much gave up. I moved after I moved to Canada. I followed, but like yeah. After I moved to Canada, I lost interest in both Australian football and Australian politics.
Do you follow hockey?
No.
No sports.
No. I just tat pretty much. Tat and dad.
Tat and dad.
Yeah.
No sports.
Tat daddy.
This man doesn't like playing with balls.
No, that's true. Yeah.
It's not what I found out before.
Don't ask Dirty Mike about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask him. 100% going to ask him next time we
on the
hook
way
up.
out.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard him just set that Prius on fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll find out later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there's this guy that's just been drafted into the NBA, Victor Wembanyama. He's a...
Wembanyama.
French guy.
I think it's Wembanyama. Yeah.
I keep doing that, and I did the same thing with Anna. I'm like mocking French people and going like this. And
they can handle it. They can handle it. Like, look, if there's one thing I've learned about French people from mostly Anna, it's, they absolutely don't mind a little bit of direct.
Okay, that's all right then.
Or directness, because
fuck the French.
they're happy to give it out. And it's like, I don't know, Anna and I talk about this a lot because she's like, I find Australians, she found it difficult when she moved here because she was quite direct. Yeah. And you can see she's kind of got that personality. Like, I think Anna's lovely, and I really enjoy working with her.
But
no, but she she has said that she has had problems with people thinking that she was rude. Whereas I find it, like, the directness, I really enjoy it. Yeah. I just think if you're kind of sensitive, and perhaps culturally maybe we are like that. I definitely know, people like that. Yeah, I think it's, there's no harm in being told, like,
I don't think, I think it's fine. That's kind of what because she talked a little bit about that when she was on, and I was like, I'd prefer it. I'd prefer someone to be direct about what they want, what they think, rather than beating around the bush.
Yeah, so. And it's actually, like a lot of people, they wind up having a lot of difficulties because they do struggle to, first of all, even knowing what it is that you do and don't like or do and don't need, let alone like expressing that. Like a lot of those, and I used to be like that as well, and that's something that I'm still working on, being able to communicate your needs effectively so that people can meet those needs or understand what your expectations are. And if you don't do that, you wind up just feeling really angry at people because, particularly me, if you're somebody who's quite conscientious of other people, and you see yourself to always be at least trying to do the right thing, and then you get frustrated that other people don't reciprocate that, and maybe like you would view them as somebody who's a taker in like social situations as opposed to a giver. You wind up, quite, and you're like, why can't they see? Like they're not a good person.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, actually, you haven't really. You've got some development there that's needed, and that's been a big lesson for me actually over the last couple of years, is learning that so that I'm able to, find enjoyment through everything. It's relationships, clients, just in the workplace. Yeah. Sorry to take it on a little serious note there.
No, that's happy days.
This is going to be your first 8-hour podcast.
Yeah, that's okay. Welcome to the first hour of the podcast.
Yeah. We're going to do this in sections.
That's right. So you mentioned that you travelled to Canada. Have you done much travelling other than that, or was it mostly just because you lived there for a while? Hey,
did yes. So originally we went. My girlfriend and I went in 2015. I had a friend who was getting married there and had asked me to be a groomsman, which was really cool. So, and my girlfriend and I hadn't been seeing each other for that long at the time, and she was planning on doing a trip to South America. And we kind of went back and forth about this, and it was whatever. So, and I'd never done a trip like that before. I traveled through Australia a lot, mainly. I moved around a lot as a kid. But long story short, she decided to come with me. So we ended up going there. We spent 5 weeks traveling through Canada, which was awesome. Stopped off in Vegas on the way back and then came home. And then when we got back, we were just like, what are we doing? Let's look into doing a working holiday. So that's what we did. We saved up, and then 2017 we left and we moved to Vancouver, and we lived there for a year. And then once we got to the year, we got so comfortable there, and it's so so many people do it. You get there and then you just stay there because it rules, and you don't really go anywhere else. And even though we had traveled through before, we did really want the experience of living somewhere. So we pretty much decided within a couple of days, we're going to move to Toronto. So then we that's what we did, packed up. And both times we flew there without any place to live, without a job lined up, without anything. So it was pretty, it was scary and it was really exhilarating as well. But yeah, I mean, it all worked out. We ended up getting this really, really cool spot downtown in this crazy apartment that you would look at, and it was above a furniture store right outside of Chinatown, and there was I couldn't even tell you how many rooms were in there. It was mental. I remember once going and looking through because I was trying to find this boxes. It was beeping. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and I'd open a door and it was going to more and more doors. It was like a labyrinth of just people living there. It was crazy, but it ruled. And then we considered staying. But I think towards the end, we were also sort of deciding where we wanted to go as far as, are we going to have kids, and, where do we want to be permanently? And we weighed it up and we just decided that we would come home, which kind of worked out pretty well because we came home at we got home January 2019. And so 10 months, a year before COVID.
Yeah.
So we were really lucky because Canada was mental.
Yeah.
It was, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Because COVID was March 2020.
Yeah. Well, I think there were stirrings of COVID. I remember seeing it in the news in January or very, very late 2019.
Yeah, because I think November, December in some Asian countries it started breaking out.
China.
Yeah.
That's because I remember a friend calling me and saying, "Man, have you seen this shit in China, man?" It's like people don't. They reckon it's coming here, and I was like, "Yeah, okay. Yeah." They always say this. Yeah, Ebola.
Yeah,
whatever. But yeah, I was wrong about that one.
Did it end up hitting the rest of the world? I don't remember.
Was it called COVID?
No, I don't know.
No,
I think it was all fake.
Yeah. Well,
So were the vaccinations and all that. So.
I might agree with each other on that one.
Yeah, it was a wild time. I'd love to go to Canada sometime. It looks amazing.
I recommend everyone go. Particularly
it's a bit expensive though, hey?
Well, things have definitely gone up again during post-pandemic. But I guess I think the biggest discrepancy was that it felt to me that things were similarly priced. Mm-hmm. However, if you were earning a moderate or lowish income, things would have been more difficult.
Okay.
So I was tattooing over there. My girlfriend was working she worked in a yoga studio. She worked in a tanning salon. She worked in a med aesthetics clinic. So she just did sort of in a gym. She just did those kind of jobs. And their just hourly rate there is not as strong as what ours is.
Gotcha,
here. And so if you're working in that kind of, regular job, then I think, things were a little bit more difficult. And we were, my girlfriend especially, she had a decent amount of savings. So that really helped sort of string her through those bits. And obviously, I wasn't just holding on to all my money. We were just sharing. But, doing a job like tattooing, it definitely helped me get a little bit above that average income that I can see why it would be really difficult for a lot of people. But I mean, look, it is the same everywhere. You still got to, live within your means to a degree.
Exactly.
But, things were cheaper, in if you wanted to go out for a meal. Yeah. You know what I mean? We would go to this sushi place all the time on Broadway in Vancouver, and we would get we would eat until we were nearly dead, and we would spend $30.
Fuck, I need that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Mm. Yeah, always we would go there, and I'd be like, man, this is the thing, and it's $30. So a lot of things just general stuff seem to be cheaper to me, you know what I mean? But also the quality of some, I don't want to say quality, but the preparation of some things was different. Over here we have cafes, over there they have diners.
Yeah,
and so the coffee is also just coffee. It's black coffee percolated, which I really actually grew pretty fond of.
Yeah.
But the standard, if you go and order here, most people poached eggs, scrambled eggs, whatever, but there it's fried or scrambled, they just, and it wasn't as, I'm not saying you couldn't find anything like that, but it was different. Just, I guess, culturally, it's slightly different like that.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Sorry to interrupt the episode. I just want to take a quick moment to thank the partner of today's episode, Flasher Clothing. Flasher Clothing is a Perth-based clothing brand that ships orders across the world to provide you with high-quality tattoo-inspired clothing so that you can show off your style on more than just your skin. For a limited time, Flasher Clothing is offering 20% off all orders for our listeners when you use code FITG20 at checkout. That's FITG20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Thank you to Flasher Clothing for sponsoring the episode, Tattoo-Inspired Comfort. And I have to ask, while we're on the topic of Canadian food and stuff, what's it called? I can't even remember.
Poutine.
Poutine. Mm-hmm. Is that pretty much the Canada equivalent of Australian meat box?
I don't know if I've had meat box, but it's chips and gravy with cheese curds. So it's just chips, gravy, and cheese, basically. Yeah, it's definitely. Okay. I could be wrong on this, but I think it originates from Montreal, so it's French, because anywhere on the East Coast, well, not anywhere, but Quebec.
Yeah.
Quebecois.
Yeah.
Is all French.
Yeah.
And pretty much everywhere else is settled by the English.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from, and then it obviously spread, But yeah, it's good, but I think it's just there was these things that are even better that nobody talks about, and I don't think that.
Go ahead, top 3. Yeah. Let's go right now.
Well, the other thing that I will say is in my time there, so I was a vegetarian for 6 years.
Okay.
So I didn't eat meat while I was in Canada, and particularly if you're in Montreal or Quebec City, there's a lot of fantastic places that do a really way more diverse range of foods that I wasn't eating at the time. Mm-hmm. But I am an absolute fat fuck at heart. And when we went to a place called Canada's Wonderland, which is like, you know, obviously a way better version of like Adventure World. It's a theme park. And they had these things called beaver tails.
Beaver tails?
Beaver tails. And I don't even know what they were, but they were a deep fried something covered in like ice cream and like what you could get like a cookies and cream one or a salted caramel one or whatever it was. Jesus Christ. It was like definitely diabetes in like a little tray, but yeah, God, I would have one of those. I nearly shit my pants in New York because they have ice cream during the summer. It's so hot there, and they have ice cream trucks everywhere. And I was just like, fuck yeah, like double scoop of ice cream, raspberry on top, double scoop of ice cream, chocolate on top, nuts, sprinkles. Anything with sprinkles makes it way better.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. Pink confectionery as well, always the best.
Always.
Pink is the best flavor.
Purple.
Disagree. Agree to disagree. I mean, grape. I had a grape soda over there for the first time. That was cool.
It's good.
Yeah, yeah. I actually,
very sugary.
I walked into this really bad neighborhood in Toronto without knowing it. And like, we were staying in this part that was like right on the edge of like, it's in the downtown area or like, you know, what we would call the city area. But there's like a street, and after that street, it's like not the best area. And I just didn't know, but I did start to notice like, and it's, I don't say this in any derogatory way or stereotypical way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But I seriously, I walked a little bit further and I just noticed a difference in the kind of stores that were around. So like almost immediately there's a strip club on the corner. There was like, it was literally just called like, you know, like John's Fried Chicken or something. And then like right next to that was a little deli. And then there were a few other stores that were just, and you could see the difference in the upkeep as well. So, and like, so I'm talking from like the city obviously cares less about this section or whatever. But yeah. And then I went in and I got a grape soda with, I think it had Shaq's face on it. And I was like,
sounds
cool.
about right.
Yeah.
That man does not miss out on a promotional.
He never turns down an opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's probably a reason why he's like a billionaire, but.
Well, it's a reason why I'm here, you know?
This is true.
Yeah. You're my grape soda.
And you're my fairy bread.
Pizza. Oh, yeah, nice. Fairy bread. That's a good one.
It's just sprinkles top of mind.
Well, that's an Australian thing, I'm pretty sure nobody talks about. You know, I hate it when people say Australia has no culture. It's like, have you ever had a Lamington, bro?
I know. Lamington's fairy bread, high-vis clothing. Like, it's just... Even WWE last night, the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
There was blokes in the front row wearing, like, West Coast Eagles jerseys, and there was a bloke wearing, like, full high-vis and all that. I was
That's
like,
funny.
Fuck yeah.
If I had, you know, cared enough to go, I would have been great to go dressed in spandex and, like,
Nice.
you know, a little bit Jesse Ventura style.
Yeah.
You know.
So your regular get-up.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to wear a tuxedo T-shirt today, and I'm glad I didn't in case the camera doesn't work. Yeah, but next time.
Well, I went with the old Be Gay, Do Crime shirt.
That's a good choice. Ironic as well, because in some places just being gay is a crime.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it is not in the red
Okay.
Prius, I'll tell you that.
Okay. I'm glad, because even if it is, then it's a risk I'm willing to take. It's all right.
Good thing you already had cuffs on then.
Exactly. And a fucking, what's it called?
A ball gag.
Yeah, that's the one. Why are you so quick with knowing what these things are called?
Just, you know.
Dirty Mike.
Yeah, I had a list.
If anyone wants to go get tattooed by this fella, just know what you're in for.
Yeah, well, listen, I don't tolerate anybody crying and screaming. That's why I have the ball gag.
Yeah, that's why I keep coming back to you.
Yeah.
Just as soon as I get on the table, I just start crying and screaming, just for a little bit of action and fun.
That's what I like. I tatted my brother's stomach once in the shop I used to work at, and it was so embarrassing. He was like, you know, like I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. And he was like, oh, I can't help it, it hurts. I don't give a fuck. Shut up, man. You're embarrassing me. And then when he left, one of the other guys was like, man, your client today is fucking carrying on a bit. And I was like, yeah. And I never met that guy before ever. I don't know who he was. Yeah, what a pussy.
They're like, let's see the consent form. What's his name? Then they just look at the last name. They're like,
now we have different last names.
Safe there.
Yeah.
Safe there.
Old mama. She was a Rolling Stone.
Hey, we love it. Old Mike.
Yeah. Dirty Mike is my mom.
So yeah, because we're talking about Canada, obviously still.
Yep.
So you worked as a tattoo artist while you were over there?
I did, yes.
What shop were you at?
So when I was in Vancouver, I was working at a place called Unity Tattoo on Commercial Drive, which was really cool. And then when I was in Toronto, I worked at Scooting. Yeah.
There you go. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah, shout out Scoot. What up?
Go visit them if you're ever in Canada.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then I don't know, do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want. Yeah, they were cool. I mean, like it was Vancouver and Toronto are two very, very different cities.
Okay.
You know, Vancouver is a very progressive city. A lot of women with brightly colored hair, if you know what I mean.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Just fucking around. But yeah, especially when I moved there, it was 2017. So I feel like obviously North America is a little bit ahead of us as far as social trends, you could say. And so moving there in that period, I really had felt like it was a little bit of a culture shock for me because there was a lot of this is right when, you know, I really feel like that cultural movement started to happen, like Me Too and stuff was happening, and all the talk of white privilege started, and you know, social justice issues and all this kind of stuff. No, it obviously didn't start there, but I just mean coming from Australia, where it wasn't as spoken about, and then going over somewhere where it was, you know, I guess common knowledge, you might say, depending on the circles you're in, was very confronting in some ways. And I don't mean at all to make it sound like I was like victimized. I don't mean it like that. I just mean it was there was some social cues that I sort of had to learn to pick up on pretty quickly. Yeah. Even just like I remember tattooing once, and there was a white woman who was like vocalize the fact that she was not comfortable with me being there because I was a white man. Right. And I was like, what? And I was tattooing. I was like, I work here. Yeah. And I was like, at the time I was really offended because I was like, what are you like to me? Yeah. I was like, why the fuck would you say that? Yeah. Like that's such a weird thing to say. Don't get me wrong. I can understand that people have had experiences that impact their, you know, comfortability in certain situations. But I mean, in a business, where someone is just sitting down working, it's so weird.
Because there are people that kind of take that a step too far. I get it. If someone's done something to make you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to say that you're uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
But then to just direct that towards someone because of the way they look, it's like you realize you're doing the thing that, like,
and that's where it was weird because, like, to me, that felt like is anyone going to point out like how like what an odd comment that is? But you know, people were very attuned to being what they would call supportive towards that kind of that thing. And then, so that took a little while to sort of adjust to. But, like, look, more or less, the experience overall was positive. And, you know, the last thing that I really want to do is make anyone feel uncomfortable in any degree, which is also why, you know, if that had been approached differently and it was like, you know, I don't know really how you could approach that thing differently. I think that person is just fucking mental. Yeah. But, you know, in any other circumstance, you know, absolutely. If I can, you know, if I'm being too loud or if I'm doing something that was making you uncomfortable, I can adjust to that. But anyway, then going to Toronto was like, I really enjoyed, and a lot of people in Vancouver had sort of warned me like, Toronto, it's like they think that they're all this and that. They call themselves the New York of Canada. It's kind of like how everyone else talks about Sydney, you know, here, except more.
Gross.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are like, you know, because it's the big city, I guess, so it's like some rivalry or whatever. But I love Toronto. I thought it was awesome because it was the first place I've ever lived where people were really proud to be where they're from. Yeah. And that was cool. It was so cool because people had such an interest in their city and they took pride in what was happening and in the community. And, you know, especially coming from Australia, like I'd just grown up around people who were always like, this place is shit, you know, fuck this. I don't like this, blah, 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 blah. And like, I guess even to a degree when I was growing up, I maybe emulated that. Definitely not in openly, but maybe, you know, you're surrounded by it. So you start to think, oh, you know, maybe this isn't that good. Yeah. But that's one of the benefits of traveling. You know, you go somewhere and you realize, fuck, there's no place like home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Toronto's quite like multicultural as
Absolutely.
well. Hey?
Yeah. So there's like there's a huge Caribbean population there.
Yeah.
So West Indians and Jamaicans, and so that has a really, really big impact on everything. Like obviously the culture, but the food is different and so much more diverse. And that's one of the things that I definitely realized in Toronto was that especially in Australia, so many people are afraid of multiculturalism.
Mm-hmm.
And that's improving, but moderated multiculturalism. And what I mean by that is obviously if you take a really, really large amount of people and put them into any localized area, there's assimilation is much more difficult, right? So moderated by having a lot of different people come in and giving everyone in the community, the new people and the existing people, time to adjust and find themselves and coexist and commingle.
Yep.
That really adds to the place where you live. It doesn't take anything away.
Absolutely.
And it's usually people on both sides are just afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid of losing their values, and they're afraid of or like having something taken from them. But as long as that can happen and people are open-minded and positive, like it can create really great things.
Yeah.
And then obviously opportunities need to be there for everyone to be able to live a happy, productive and decent life, and things go well. But yeah, that was a really cool experience that I had over there. And then it was also far more like that experience that I was just talking about in Vancouver. It felt once I had moved to Toronto, there were people there who I could connect with that shared the experiences that they had with me.
Yeah.
That I understood a lot better.
Gotcha.
As opposed to, what felt like somebody making a scene out of nothing. You know what I mean? So people who come from much more diverse backgrounds and even, less fortunate backgrounds, let's say,
Absolutely. It's a wild thing. Like, to sum it up, if everyone could just treat and love everyone for who they are rather than judging people first, it'd just be a fucking fantastic place. But unfortunately, people don't do that.
You got to be friends with everyone.
Exactly.
Because, so I listened to this. I don't know if you know who Henry Rollins is.
No.
So he was the lead singer of Black Flag. He's like a punk band.
Also don't know who that is, but that's okay.
So there is punk band. But he, I actually, when I was an apprentice, a guy that I worked with got me onto, he does these spoken word tours. Anyway, I went to see him and I listened to one of the things that he said, and he was talking about how when he was in high school, he wasn't doing that well. He was getting picked on a lot and he was failing math. And he had made friends with this kid who had just moved to the States from Iran. Mm-hmm. And at the time, there was the Iranian missile crisis or whatever it was called. Excuse me, sorry. It's always two burps. Weird. And this kid, he befriended him because he also didn't really have any friends. And he would go around his house and his kid would help him with his math because he was really good at math. And what he basically says is that at that time things were really escalating and there was a lot of stuff in the media, like propaganda essentially being like, anti-Iranian or Middle Eastern people. And so there was a lot of, a lot of people were prejudiced and would bully the kid and stuff. And he goes, I couldn't accept what I was hearing from adults and from the media and from everything else, because while they were trying to portray this nation, this group of people as negative, as trying to hurt us and attack us and bad people, he goes, I knew my friend and I had been to his house and seen how loving and caring his family were and seeing how beautiful his culture was. And so I didn't accept that that was a reality. And that has always stuck with me because it's so true.
Yeah.
And anytime I find myself, feeling defensive or even having my own biases come up in my own mind, I am so grateful that I have an open personality and I am, I'm plugged in with a lot of different people from a lot of different groups and I can be ignorant, just like anyone. Well, the thing about ignorance is like you're ignorant to it. You don't, you don't always realize that maybe it's not, you know, the best idea. But when you have people around you that you're close to and you're able to, like, somebody says something negative about, you know, whether it be a race thing or a gender thing or a trans thing or anything like that, and you think, well, hold on a second, you know, you don't have to agree with everyone. You know, I definitely don't agree. Like, I have my own opinions on certain things, but that doesn't mean I don't care about people. And it's okay if we have different opinions, you know, essentially, you know, be friends with everyone.
Yeah.
You know, or as best you can, you know, it only, again, it's like one of those melting pot things.
Yeah.
It only makes you better.
Yeah, exactly.
That just comes down to a question of values, not, you know, sex.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so.
Sex or gender.
You said sex.
I got a boner.
I've had one this whole time. Thanks, Dirty Mike. And then, because we've been talking about Canada for the past 25 minutes, while you're in Canada, you kind of got into powerlifting a little bit, hey? Or the gym, or...
No, so I had always... That's all right. I'd always trained a bit, but when I was in Vancouver, I did nothing.
Yeah.
I did no training or anything. So when I had gotten to Toronto, I really needed to sort of start taking better care of myself. So I started working with a guy there and doing...
Dirty Mike.
Dirty Mike, yeah. His name was Tosh, actually. Clean Tosh. He was a clean guy. And he did like Olympic lifting, essentially, like Ollie lifting. And so I worked with him for the better part of the year that I was there. And really, for the most part of it, it was just working on strengthening up my weaknesses. And then towards the end, we got into doing like a few more like proper movements, you know, snatch lifts and stuff and snatch squats and stuff. But then which was really, really beneficial to me. And then when we left Toronto and came home, and then I stopped doing that and I just started just gymming regularly again. But I should have kept up with it because it did it was really good, you know, strengthened me up a lot. But and then a couple of years ago I got like a lot more serious into my training. I thought about, like, during COVID I worked so much and I was really burnt out, and I now I realized I just needed a little bit of time off to reset, and instead I was like, you know, I suck, this sucks, you know, it's too much, whatever, and I'd gotten right into my fitness, so I was going to sort of move over into that world, but I didn't. I didn't. But I mean, I took it really seriously. I was training. I was training 7 days a week. I was at my most intense point. I was up at 3:45 every day, and then so I was training. I'd train 6 days, and then I'd run 10Ks on every Sunday. With a run club that I did, and then that whole thing was probably, you know, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years in the process, and then. My girlfriend got pregnant, and then right before my son was born, I was just really tired. You know, I'd been doing so much because I was still tattooing full time, and then I was doing like online coaching as well, and programs, meals, and all this kind of stuff. And it just ended up I was trying to do too much. So for the thing I was trying to avoid, I actually kind of compounded it and made it worse. Even though it was very enjoyable. I mean, like the things that I did, and I was like by no means an expert. In a sense, but you know, I was able to help some people, which was really cool, and that was a part of it that I really enjoyed. But right before my son was born, I was like, fuck, you know, I might pull back a little bit. And then I kind of did the opposite, and then I really struggled for a little while there, actually, just sort of being able to get my head back in the game, which sort of I've come to realize that's pretty normal. You know, everything changes. Your priorities change completely. And,
absolutely.
But whatever. That's sort of how it went. And like I said, he'll be 2 nearly, and I've actually just started going to this new gym. Like literally, I in no way represent them in any, you know, proud or honorable way. Like, I mean, it's a great place, but I just mean like I haven't contributed anything to there.
So you're the best, you're the strongest person at the gym. You're the best lifter there. Everyone should take notes from you. Got it. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah. But it's been fantastic so far. So I'm just getting into like the absolute basics of powerlifting. Yeah. And then I'm sort of just gonna this week coming, I'm gonna start sort of into the proper schedule.
Yeah.
So that should be pretty exciting.
Nice. Are you planning on competing in powerlifting or anything, or are you just kind of training to see where you can get to?
Not really. Yeah, I guess I'll just see where I can go. If it does present itself as an opportunity, then maybe I will. You know, like powerlifting, it doesn't seem like the schedule. I'm not saying that it's not intense, but the schedule is definitely not as. It doesn't have to be like as intense as what I was doing previously.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not going to be as difficult to manage the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like 3-4 days a week would be enough. So yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility. I'll just see where I can go.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's been enjoyable so far. So I don't want to. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call. Because I think you've kind of got a bit of the stature for powerlifting. Like you're fairly tall and fairly like broad and everything. So, I mean, if I tried to do it, I think I'd be fucked because I'm like 82 kilos soaking wet. Like I just not a chance.
Well,
to do anything. But
like this is the thing. Like Henry, the guy who runs it, he sort of said to me, you know, what's your best ever deadlift? And I've always had trouble with deadlifting.
Mm-hmm.
I said like 155, I think, and he was like, he goes, "What do you reckon you could do now?" And I haven't solidly, like I always hurt myself when I do deadlifts because my form is not correct.
Yeah.
And I've known that, so like I kind of have avoided it. And I was like, maybe 100. You know, I really haven't deadlifted in like 2 years. And he goes, right, fuck that. He goes, we have women here that are 77 kilos that pull 200. It should be your biological imperative as a man to deadlift at least 200 kilos. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, and I love that. You know what I mean? It was just like being around people who change your perception of what is available to you or possible for you really helps you elevate, because it's like you could do, if you get around anybody who does that with anything. So it could be earning money or starting a podcast or whatever, and you're umming and ahhing and you're not sure, and they're like, what do you mean? All you have to do is this. And you're like, holy fuck, I didn't think that was possible for me. They're like, dude. And you're like, oh fuck. Yeah. So I did with him in my first session, where I haven't deadlifted in 2 years, one of 150.
Nice.
You know, and just a few adjustments in form and stuff like that. And I was like, damn. I mean, my shins were both bleeding profusely by the end of it. Yeah. But, you know, obviously that was one of my problems, is I was sort of avoiding, I was keeping the bar a little bit too far out. Yeah. But so, I mean, like, that's awesome. That's so cool to have that experience and just like with a few small adjustments, realize that you can do a lot more than what you thought you could. Yeah. I love being around stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I used to focus a bit on deadlifts, and I wanted to try hit 200. I never got there eventually. I think the highest I got was about 185.
That's good.
I was getting there, but I kind of found that the risk to reward was just not there, considering I didn't want to do anything with it. I just wanted to hit 200 and that was it. So
a lot of people say that.
So I was like you're better off doing rack pulls or something like that.
Yeah.
If you just want to train the strength and whatnot. So they are good, but you do one thing that wrong and then you can't walk for a week.
Which is that was always me. You know, like and it's not that I hadn't like I've worked with trainers before and and some good trainers you know here in Perth and then like I said in Toronto, but for whatever reason, for me, I didn't find the thing that or I didn't accurately do the movement, whatever you want to say. I definitely wouldn't put it off on anyone else, but I have a lot more confidence now in just like the things that I've been shown in my ability to get stronger, which is exciting. Yeah, but pardon me, as you say, if you're just doing it for funsies, then you know, I mean, limit the risk factor then.
Yeah, exactly. I'll let you go in a second, but we'll do some rapid fire and would you rathers before you head off.
Okay.
So, what is your guilty pleasure gym song? So a song that people wouldn't be assuming that you'd be listening to at the gym, but it gets you hype. Or on the way to the gym.
I made a recording of my inner monologue basically telling me that I'm worthless to absolutely no music, and I play that in my headphones all the time.
There you go.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere, you're not doing anything, you're a failure.
I actually used the same one, but like your one.
You recorded.
I used the same thing.
Everybody hates you, everybody hates you, everybody hates you. It's pretty catchy actually.
Yeah, nice.
No, I listen to, I think probably the thing that gets me most G'd up is have you ever heard of Akira the Don?
No.
Akira the Don is as far as I understand, I might get this wrong, but he created his own sort of genre of music called meaning wave. And basically what he does is he takes public speakers and he remixes he edits their parts of their conversations into songs. And he has this one, so he's done, Jocko Willink, Jordan Peterson, Alan Watts, many, many more. But he's done this one on Goggins, and it's obviously it's Goggins, so it's going to get anyone G'd up. But there's that whole album is really good. But there's like a particular song on there. It's called Cookie Jar, and it's fucking.
I'll have to look it up.
Highly recommend it. If you're going for a run, or if you're going for a workout, or on your way, it'll get you going.
Because I think he made a song with J. Cole, because he's got the part in there that says there's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says "Fool me once,
shame on you,
shame on you." And fool me can't get fooled again.
Fool me one time.
Such a weird part of the song, but
that rules.
Yeah, is what it is. Mine's probably the amount of times I've listened to "Love Story" on the way to the gym by Taylor Swift.
Okay, yeah, I'm not a Swiftie. But
neither am I. Okay. I've got a very weird relationship with Taylor Swift and her music at the moment, with the whole like her coming to Australia thing. She makes some absolute bangers. She seems like a really cool person, but the way the media push her down our throat, that's what she said, is just, it's nuts. Like, even if you don't like her, you're forced to be watching her and listening to her at the Super Bowl, everything. I'm like, you're making people dislike her.
It feels like a bit much.
Yeah, so I love her music. She seems like an amazing person, but I
respect her hustle. I don't know, even like as far as media, like I don't really watch TV or like listen to any conventional sort of channels, so I miss it, but I know that she's been in the zeitgeist a lot lately, and people are sort of, kind of obviously either loving it or feeling a little bit strongly about it. But, sometimes I like, it's, bit of Miley Cyrus every now and then.
Fucking love Miley.
Don't mind Miley. Yeah. And then maybe a bit of Beyonce or Adele when I'm feeling sad.
Oh, Adele slaps every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello 100%. From the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amy Winehouse.
Bangers.
Don't get me started.
Bangers on bangers on bangers. Nice. If you were to have a movie made about your life, who would you want to, or who do you think would be playing you? If they're different answers, they can be different answers, but
Bobby Lee.
Who's Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee, the comedian.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
that's one. I think that's the first time anyone on this show has ever mentioned any kind of celebrity, and I've known who they're talking about. Because I don't know actors or anything, but I do know who Bobby Lee is.
Yeah, I love Bobby. So I'm a huge comedy buff. I love comedy.
I'm Bobby Mom.
And yeah. Dude, so when I lived in Vancouver, they've got like a chain comedy club in Vancouver called Yuck Yucks, and I would go down to Yuck Yucks like literally at least once a week.
Yeah.
So like even the regular guys, like I knew all of like their sets and stuff like that, but I just loved it. And Bobby Lee came one time.
Yeah,
and
right.
I had my friend Harvey and Steve and Harvey's ex-girlfriend Natasha at the time. All my friends basically they'd flown over as well.
Yeah.
So we were doing all this stuff, and then we went down to the comedy club, and Bobby Lee was there, and we were like, "Fuck yeah!" And he did this bit where he was like, asked someone to get on stage, and he was like, get someone, and I just put my hand up straight away, and he saw, and he asked me to stand up, and he was like, oh, what's your name, and what do you do? And I answered, and then he was like, are you willing to do anything I ask of you if you get on this stage? And I went, yeah. And he was like, that's too much of a hesitation. He was like, maybe sit down. And then he chose someone else. And I was like, fuck, I fucked it up. And then he basically got naked on the stage. He stripped down to his underwear and like made the guy like rub on him. I was like, that could have been me.
Could have been you.
Yeah.
And you would have been perfect for Dirty Mike then as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Maybe that's how he got his start.
Yeah, well, have you heard the story about getting molested by a guy with Down syndrome?
Yes. Yeah, no, because I don't watch. They do a podcast. Hey, it's Bobby Lee and what's the other guy's
Andrew
name?
Santino.
Yeah,
best friends or good friends.
Yeah, so I don't listen to it, but on TikTok, their reels, clips
same.
and stuff come up. So I'll watch all their reels.
Yeah, I love clips.
Yeah, amazing. I hope you watch my clips for this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do. Every time. The one with the thing?
Yeah,
That time?
the thing that the person did.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I know a little bit of French. When I was in Montreal, because people get really upset if you don't try to, as Anna was saying. So, we were there for like a week and a half. I didn't have a lot of time to sort of learn, but I learned, bonjour, parlez-vous anglais? Je ne parle pas français, je suis stupide. Which means, obviously, hello, do you speak English? I don't speak French because I'm stupid.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to learn that just in case I ever go back. So.
It's very disarming, and people tend to like it.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's the way to do it when you learn languages, I think.
I know. Yeah, a little bit of self-deprecation.
Exactly.
People appreciate that.
Yeah. Everyone loves it. Who's a tattoo artist or just any kind of artist that has influenced you the most, either into your style of tattooing or to get into tattooing or since you've become a tattoo artist?
So definitely my mentor, Samantha Charlin. She was the person who brought me into tattooing, which I'm very, very grateful for, and is just an absolute juggernaut of a person. I mean, she rules. She's extremely hard worker, disciplined, courageous. She's just the best person, and someone who I always have wanted to make proud for bringing me in. So definitely her, and a lot of the people that I worked with in the beginning of my career at sort of my Emerald Ink days, but most notably as well, my friend Harry. He came in, I think I'd been tattooing a couple of years, and we just developed like a very strong bond, particularly around, we spent a lot of time speaking about the impact that applying yourself in tattooing can have to you. Like, it's intrinsically linked to your personal development and growth, and where it can take you if you really apply yourself. Yeah. And he's a perfect example of that. Like, he's just an absolute, again, he's a juggernaut. He's a weapon. He's like onto his 5th or 6th Euro trip in just last year and this year, going and doing the best conventions in the world. Yeah. And he is just he's a fantastic person and an incredible artist, and someone who I'm very, very grateful to be friends with. Yeah.
Nice. Do either of them do like black and grey realism like you, or?
Yeah. So well, Sammy does neo-trad.
Okay, cool.
Primarily, but she can do anything. Yeah, she's very versatile. She's fantastic. And then Harry is, again, Harry could do a lot of different things, but he is, specialized in, I guess you would say, like hyper-realism.
Okay.
So he does some really, really crazy stuff. I'll show you his work. But
he's check him out.
Yeah, Harrison Tattoo.
Nice.
And Sammy Tattooist.
I feel like I've seen Harrison Tattoo on Instagram before. Brother. I may be wrong, but
if you haven't, you're missing out. But I'm sure you have. He's fucking. He did my front. Yeah. So I tried to move to Melbourne in 2020, post our lockdown, and I think I landed. I got there July 7th. It was like a week before my birthday, and Melbourne had come out of lockdown as well. And I was like, "Are we gonna like? Do you reckon you're gonna go back?" Because their cases started rising, and he's like, "Nah, it'll be fine." And I was like, "You reckon?" Because I got close to the date, the cases were rising. He's like, "Play it by ear, like see what happens." Because essentially, I was just like, "I'll go to Melbourne for a couple months, see if I can establish clientele, look for rentals, and my girlfriend was going to come." Flew, landed in the Uber from the airport. Dan Andrews has announced we're going into a lockdown.
Nice.
Nice. So I was like, fuck. So we ended up in lockdown. I was there for 3 months, and then over about a 4 or 5 week period, we did 14 sessions, or like 13 full sessions, and then one smaller session, did my whole front.
Nice.
Yeah, which was, it was crazy, but it was really, really cool.
That tickled?
Oh, brother. Yeah, there were some tough spots. So, like, the chest was actually, I was always kind of concerned about the chest, but the chest I found really tolerable. Like, around the outside hurt and close to the nipple. But then basically, like, the ribs directly down from the nipples in, like, a strip, like, anywhere in that section on the ribs and stomach hurt, and above the pubes. Oof.
Yeah, because I've got both sides of my stomach done here.
They're the worst spots.
Got, like trad work.
Yeah.
And love the artist to death. Love him so much. And
I never want to see him again.
Probably have him on the show. He does not have a soft hand when it comes to tattooing. And Like the first session I was meant to get both sides done, but he was like, we'll just do one and see how you go. Whole time, both sessions, I had my shirt in my mouth, just earphones in, just like holding, do you want to have a break? I'm like, just fucking get it done. Please just get it done. So yeah, it's awful, and I'm so glad that it's done now, and I can just get small pieces everywhere else.
It's the only benefit.
Yeah.
It's like I was doing my client's shin yesterday, and he was like, I've got 50% of my shins done. I'm halfway there. I've only got one I have to do ever again. And I was like, that's the attitude.
Yeah. You get out of the chair and you're like, never want to do that again. When am I coming back again?
Yeah, literally.
Cool. On to the would you rathers. Do you have a good one, or do you want me to start with one?
Yeah, so I was saying to you, I think the best would you rathers, because we used to do this a lot in the shop.
Used to? What happened?
Well, in a different shop that I worked at.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
fucking Main Street, get it together. Start doing some would you rathers.
Well, you know, you work with different people, and some people prefer to be a little bit more quiet.
Yeah.
And you know, the Main Street is a little bit more like that. You know, because everyone's focusing and stuff, which is totally fine. But personally, I'm not like that. Like I love talking shit.
They still seem to have the time to send me the clip from the security cameras.
Yeah, that's because it's the front end a little bit, you know, those motherfuckers. But but you know, everyone gets into straight away. Like they're like, would you rather, you know, watch your parents fuck every day or join in once? And they go to the extreme ones, which are obviously like they're good, but like everyone's heard those ones.
Yeah.
But I think like the best ones are like small social inconveniences, So like,
I agree.
Would you rather never be able to hold in a thought or never be able to hold in a fart?
When you say hold in a thought, does that mean you blurt it out?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
And do the farts always smell, or is it like hit or miss, or is it?
I would say like you maintain a regular body function. So if you if they do, then they do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if you're being eaten bad, you think, but so you just can never. So you could be like in the middle of like, you know, Dad, he was such a good guy, and we're really gonna miss. Sorry.
I think I'd go with that, because I'm already lactose, fructose, and gluten intolerant, so everything makes me fart already.
Right.
So I reckon I'd go with that, because I don't think it would change my life that much.
Right. Yeah. See, I yeah, not me. I couldn't do that.
You go thoughts.
Well, I do actually. You know, I don't know, but I held in a shit for 6 days once when I was 16, because I was staying at my girlfriend's house. And then finally, I just couldn't take it anymore.
That's impressive.
I waited
Genuinely
till everyone went to
impressive.
sleep. Yeah,
I can't do that for 6 minutes.
God, I don't know what it is. Like I'm a home shitter. You know, I cannot. You know, like it makes me so uncomfortable. Like it's like. Yeah, weirds me out when I go into the toilet at work and, you know, you walk in, someone's freshly shit, and it's like, dude, are you fucking insane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggle with that a little bit, but like when you got to go, you got to go. Like,
yeah, look,
I'll hover over the seat if I need to or whatever.
I respect it. Look, dire circumstances,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it calls for it. So you got to do what you got to do.
Like 6 days.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, that was
That's not dire enough for you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Apparently not.
Weirds me out.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what would you choose? Fart or thought?
Yeah, look, I don't know.
Because the problem is I'm ADHD, so the thought one would be good for no one.
Yeah,
like
you know, yeah, I'd be worried, like, yeah, I'd be worried. I have some pretty fucking weird fucking thoughts sometimes. Like, there's sometimes where I talk and people are like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't say the thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I thought of that one and I didn't want to have to answer it. So, I didn't really
have to.
All right.
Because if you say neither, then it means both.
Okay, look, I would probably go fart because I think that I would be able to do it a lot more discreetly. You know? Yeah. I think I like, at least if you're able to, if it was a fart, you could probably develop a contraption that would like, you could put into the underwear that would either like mask it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could just, if you smell it, you're like, good dude, that was that. That was that guy. You know?
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's probably what I would go for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that. Okay. Mine's another like social inconvenience one.
Okay, go.
So would you rather always feel like there's a rock in the middle of your shoe, like a tiny little rock that's just kind of there? There's not one there, but it always feels like there's one there, or always feel like you have to sneeze. So like you never actually sneeze, and if you take off your shoe and try to get the rock out, there's nothing there.
Rock
and
in the
like
shoe.
You're always going.
Rock in the shoe. I can tolerate that. Yeah, I could tolerate that a lot more because if I was always feeling like I was going to sneeze, it would interrupt me way too much. But the rocking shoe I could deal with.
What if it was like not always, but every like 15 seconds? So you just like
Too much.
talking
Rocking
and
the
then
shoe. Yeah, no, rocking the shoe. Yeah, that's going to interrupt me in everything way too much.
Do you know how irritating that's going to be? What if it's both shoes? And it's not just one spot, like it keeps moving around like a rock would.
I think I could tolerate it. I'd be pretty good at, learning to acclimatize myself to that. But the sneeze thing, I don't think I'd be able to do. You know, like if I genuinely had a rock in my shoe, and no matter what I was doing, unless it was painful.
No, just irritating.
Yeah, it's irritating. Yeah, I could deal with it. If I had a rock in my shoe and I was like, I can't bother taking my shoe off, I'll do it later. I could just deal with it. That'd be fine.
What if it was the sneezing one? I'll take that answer. Don't think I'm just changing it to whatever.
You are, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. What if it's the sneezing one?
Yeah.
Or you know how like when you've been in like freshly cut grass or whatever, you get really itchy? Mm-hmm. Your palms always feel like that, or the sneeze thing?
That's hard because the palms would interrupt my work. Mm-hmm. But then the sneezing would as well.
Yeah.
You know, so before I sneeze, I'm like, I can't have that.
Yeah. Are you a loud sneezer or a quiet sneezer?
Dude, I don't know if it's since I became a dad, but I'm a loud sneezer.
I think it's being a dad.
Yeah, I've got and I let it out too, you know. And then sometimes when I drink, I don't know where this has come from, but I have I 100% have an allergic reaction to alcohol. And I will have a period where I'm like sneezing for like probably 3 to 5 minutes uncontrollably.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
I don't drink that much, but yeah, very, very frustrating.
Yeah, because I can kind of control my sneezes. I can put a silencer on them, and I normally sneeze pretty quietly. Like I'll do the old...
Yeah.
But then my missus, she has this thing at the moment where she'll always take the piss out of me for how I sneeze. And she swears that when I sneeze, I go, "It's you." So now when I sneeze, I purposefully, when I'm around her, I go, "It's you."
Yeah. You got to emphasize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think women, you know,
Jeez.
where does she get off?
Yeah.
Criticizing you.
Yeah.
Does she not know
Like
you're a man and she's a woman?
Exactly. I keep rubbing her.
Shut up.
I keep rubbing her knees to get the clit and everything, but like she keeps saying wrong spot, and I'm like, no, it's not. I'm a man. I know where it is. Okay.
Well, she doesn't know what she wants.
Fucking unbelievable, ridiculous.
I got another one.
Go ahead.
Joking as well, obviously. Would you rather?
Just to confirm, if you take anything on this podcast seriously, don't. Nothing has been serious.
All the stuff I said that was derogatory was obviously a joke, but Eggs, he's like that.
Yeah.
It's
just me.
terrible person.
Yeah.
Would you rather always have to speak in Dr. Seuss language,
Okay.
or always have to speak in the cadence and tone of someone who's about to get into a fight?
Okay. When you say the Dr. Seuss one, so do I have to like go out of my way to learn how to do it and everything,
No,
or just when I talk,
can't help it.
it naturally does that?
Yeah, you
100%
can't.
that. That's sick.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, easily. I don't want the fight one. Like,
The fight one would be funny though, eh?
it would be funny. It'd be funny to see.
Thanks for the fucking compliment.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I seriously appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks so much for your help. You've been wonderful
Yeah,
today.
you've been fucking wonderful. Thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah. Oh, look at me helping everyone that comes into this shop.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You're a saint. Yeah, that's funny. But
Oh,
then,
look at me getting you a birthday cake. Oh, I'm so cool. Awesome. Yeah. Here's the knife. You can do the first cut because it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
that's funny. But yeah, it would be much more intolerable. But then, like trying to be serious, you know, in the Dr. Seuss one would be difficult. You know, like, good morning, kids. Good morning. Get out of bed. I've got some news. Grandma's dead.
I need to get that on a shirt.
Yeah, and they're like, what? Yeah. Anyway,
I would prefer that. That'd be sick.
yeah. I guess it could work to your benefit. I think it would be more.
You'd never lose a rap battle.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it'd be pretty corny, but yeah, I guess that's true.
Roses are red, violets are blue. It don't always be like that, but sometimes it do.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's my favorite poem of all time. Written by Edgar Allan Poe, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edgar Allan, no.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, me either.
Edgar Allan Poe. Shut the fuck up.
The quality of this content is going downhill fast.
Oh, yeah. I think this will be the last episode. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's been real.
Yeah.
Or as me and my co-workers say, it's been incredibly authentic.
Yeah, I feel that too. And I just want to say, thank you for holding space. And, for two white guys to come in here and be able to have the opportunity to, express ourselves. It's been, really validating. And so, namaste.
Namaste. Welcome back to the first ever podcast with two straight white guys.
Yeah.
Never been done before, so...
Let's talk about chicks.
Yeah. What's their deal?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, man. I love chicks and women.
Yeah, fucking...
I'm straight.
Cars.
I'm straight. Are you?
You'll find out later. Where can people find you other than the back of Dirty Mike's car?
At Main Street Tattoo in Osborne Park and at Anthony Janisic on Instagram.
We'll tag both of them.
Very nice.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Egg. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Sorry that there was no camera, but we'll have to get you and Anna on at the same time, and Nikki.
And
maybe.
Nikki, yeah.
Now that she's no longer a tattoo artist. Well, she is part-time,
No,
hey?
Yeah. She's still tattooing, but her
Okay.
comedy career is really taking off. As I said to her, it's absolutely no surprise to me that since she started working with me that her comedy is going really well. So
Makes sense.
yeah, but she's going to drop down her tattooing hours slightly because things are going so well with comedy. So yeah.
There we go.
Which is awesome for her. Very happy.
We'll get a Main Street Fill in the Gaps podcast.
Yeah, that'd be
Sounds
awesome.
fucking sick. Please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, share the show. Find us on most socials, FITG_pod or podcast. Check out Flasher Clothing, flasher.clothing. Code FITG20 for 20% off. And
if you spend a photo of you flashing to the podcast, you get a free shirt.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's how I got that shirt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. My sweet titties.
Exactly. Check out his sweet titties. Later.
Thanks, guys.